So I wanted to talk about the relationship between spirituality and OCD, how these two things are connected, okay? So I am someone from a very young age that I was always kind of like, I'm not saying that Western medicine doesn't have its place, of course it does, there are certain things that can only be treated with surgery, but I was always someone who was like, even before I knew anything about holistic medicine, about anything, about spirituality, about higher self, any of this stuff, I was always like, there must be another way. Like, I'm never been someone who just kind of goes, yeah, that's the right thing, I'm going to listen to that one person. I'm like, well, let's explore other options, right? Because I just believe that everything can be fixed, and it can. But anyway, so OCD, right? I don't know. Again, for people who aren't like spiritual and who are more like, I don't know, scientific based, who need basically scientific facts. I know people like this, but then there are loads of people with a scientific background who are now, spiritual teachers. So, the two are merging together because everything's connected. But anyway, on to my point. So I knew that I had OCD for a really long time, and but I had to be diagnosed with it, which is obsessive-compulsive disorder, which is it's a thing that a lot of people still don't understand. They just think that you need to switch the light on and off 3 times or whatever, and that's just really not what it is at all. There are like 4 different types, and it can manifest in different ways, but all it is, it's like obsessive-compulsive disorder. It's a compulsion with these obsessive thoughts or things that we have to do, right? That's kind of like the main, the more broad explanation of it, right? And then I think I was watching a video on YouTube again, and actually someone was, I don't know if they were talking about OCD or they were talking about control, but it was exactly this, that it was like, if you have issues around control, then it's because your inner child is wounded. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, right? Because that's all OCD is you needing to control something, because otherwise, something bad will happen, like the outcome, it's the outcome that you don't want. If you don't do the thing that you need to do, then it will be a bad outcome, whatever that may be, right? And because I never understood why I had OCD, because I understood this logically, and I was like, I understand that for me, like one of the things was like cross-contamination, right? So just having to like clean and disinfect everything, taking over my life. But I was always kind of like, well, I understand that if this thing touches this thing, or if I don't clean this thing before this thing, I understand that nothing bad's going to happen. So I understood this. So I didn't understand why I had the compulsion to do it, right? So here's a perfect example of how OCD works. It's like, you can understand this, right? But you still need to do the thing, right? So it's a compulsion, okay? So then when I was listening to this spiritual teacher, she was talking about the inner child being wounded, right? And why is the inner child wounded, right? Like your root chakra, right? Your root chakra is the base. It's what grounds you, okay? It's the grounding chakra, okay? It's the base chakra, grounding, down, earth, base, okay? It's the foundation of all the other chakras. If this chakra is out of alignment, then all the other ones are just like, wreaking havoc. So I was thinking about this, and I was like, okay, why do I feel like I need to control? Okay. And it's not necessarily that you need to control people or things like that, but it's just, you need to be able to control everything in your life. Okay. And this can manifest, like I said, with anything. It can manifest with things in your house, and you controlling how everything is in your house, or controlling things within yourself, that you must be a certain way, trying to control the people, but not like in a narcissistic way or anything like that, but just like, you must meet me at this time, because if you like, it's just this thing, like if things don't go to plan, your whole day, your whole life is ruined. Everything is just ruined, okay? And it can cause like really big like issues with like friends and things like that, and in relationships and stuff, because especially if you can't quite explain it, right? And so then I realized that all it was, my fear of, cross-contamination, was just a fear of not being in control. And why is that? Because when I was a child, I just didn't have a say in anything, right? And I'm not here being like, oh, I blame my parents, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. But it's just the experience that I remember as a child. And again, I've explained this in another video, that nothing bad needs to happen for you to have trauma. It's just, if you can't process something as a child, that will then carry on into adulthood, okay? So I'm not blaming anyone here. There's no purpose. There's no point in blaming anyone anyway. But so I moved around a lot, okay? and I never had a say in it, right? So like as a child, the thing that you want the least is to move schools, for example, because you have your friends, you make friends, right? And then at one point I like moved schools like every year, so I was continuously having to make friends, which now is really great because I can just make friends really easily. Obviously as a child I didn't understand this. I was like, why am I continuously being taken away from my friends, right? Why don't my parents care about me? Why don't they listen to me? Why do they need to move? Like, why can't they just listen to me? Right? So amongst other things, but this is something that I carried with me into adulthood, and so I became very controlling in the sense that I had to control everything in my life, even my thoughts and beliefs and everything is very controlled. And people were always like, oh, I don't understand how you have like such discipline and things like that. And I was like, because it's like, if things get out of control, this is the thing with discipline, it's like, because here's the outcome. Here's how I explain discipline. I'm like, okay, do you want to feel good or do you want to feel bad? And people are like, well, I want to feel good. Well, don't do the thing that makes you feel bad then, okay? Because people always talk about this and they're like, well, I have no strength, I have no motivation. No, you just don't want to do it, okay? So anyway, so this is what happened with me, that I realized that actually my OCD, obsessive-compulsive disorder, was me trying to control everything and everyone, okay? So, and then obviously the past 2 years made everything worse because of all the sanitizing and things like that. I think that's when it really got out of hand. But then when I started to see a psychologist, they couldn't treat it. A therapist, they couldn't treat it, okay? Because again, they were looking at it from a different perspective. And the only cure that they have for OCD is exposure therapy, which is you expose yourself to the thing that you're scared of, okay? Which is just like anything that, you know, that works with anything, right? If you're scared of something, you've got to face it. So it's not really great. But so it's about getting to the root of it, right? So OCD is just, it's basically, this is how it is connected to spirituality, was the name of this video, but it's like how it's connected, yeah, to your beliefs and to your need to control and things like that, right? So if you do have OCD, then ask yourself why it is that you need to control the things that you are trying to control, okay? Because if, like me, you know that logically nothing bad's actually going to happen if you don't do the things that you need to do, that your brain's like, you need to do this thing or something bad's going to happen, then can you get to the root of it? Why is it that you're trying to control everything, everyone, including yourself? Like, what is the root cause of it, the root chakra, root cause? And all I'm saying is that, like, once I discovered that, I'm not saying that it's like instantly you're cured. It's never like that, okay? But as soon as you shine a light on something, it just becomes so freeing, okay? Because then you're not, so this thing was controlling me, but I thought I was controlling it. So it's not controlling me anymore, okay? And again, everything's a process, because again, it's a habit. It was a habit that I formed of doing these things. So now I have to consciously not do that anymore, okay? So anyway, I hope that this video resonates and that it has helped you. If you have any questions, if there's something that I said that you didn't understand, then please let me know below. Leave a comment down below. You can also get in touch with me like on my emails in the YouTube description. But yeah, I really hope that this makes sense to you. As I always say, I love to just share like my epiphanies and just kind of like see what works, because you never know who might need to listen to this thing. And also I just love talking. But no, I really hope that this has helped you, and thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, like and subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.